The Legend of Korra was a continuation and a follow-up series to The Last Airbender. It was set 70 years after Aang, and revolved around a young lady named Kora who was the next avatar in line. After Kyoshi from Earth, Roku from Fire and Aang from Air, this show was about a water tribe avatar who was Aang's successor, and today we are going to see all the characters who featured in the show, and everyone responsible for voicing them and where they are in 2025. We begin with Kora, who was the current incarnation of the Avatar and an immediate successor of Avatar Aang. She was born and raised in the Southern Water Tribe, and that was where she mastered waterbending from waterbending masters including Katara. She later mastered Earth and Fire, and then relocated to Republic City to master airbending under Tenzen, Aang's son. Unlike Aang, Kora was very fierce and stubborn, and was an enthusiastic lady who did not shy away from beating the sweat out of others. She also had a small circle of friends to whom she was so loyal and passionate to. And even with her stubborn nature, Kora always placed a high priority on her position as the Avatar, and always wanted to maintain peace within the four walls of the elements. She was voiced by Janet Varney, who is an American actress, comedian, and a writer, and has also been featuring as a producer nowadays. Mako was a firebender who grew up on the streets of Republic City with his younger brother called Bolan. Even before meeting and being friends with the Avatar, he was a well-respected athlete who played a pro-bending sport alongside Bolan. Mako was a stoic man who was also not known to show emotions like his brother. He had a calm demeanor most of the time, and was very independent in everything he did. After not feeling comfortable as a Team Avatar member, he left and joined the police department, where he could continue helping the helpless under Lin Beifong. He was voiced by David Faustino, who is an American actor, and is well known for playing Bud Bundy in the sitcom show, Married with Children. Now to Mako's brother called Bolan, who was an earthbender that also joined Team Avatar to help in restoring balance to the world. Bolan was a fun-loving fella with a laid-back personality, who also possessed a good sense of humor. He was high-spirited and expressive emotionally, and the reason he was always humorous was to shield himself from the harsh realities of life after his parents were destroyed. And even with all that is said, Bolan was one of the greatest earthbenders of his time, and he even went out of his comfort zone and learned how to bend magma. He was voiced by Paul Jeffrey Byrne, an American actor who we also saw in The Wolf of Wall Street, playing the role of Nikki Koskoff. Tenzen was the last born of Aang and Katara, and was the oldest living airbending master in the Legend of Korra. He lived on Air Temple Island with his wife and kids, and was the one tasked with the responsibility of teaching Korra how to airbend. He was extensively taught the traditions and customs of the air nomads by his father, and this earned him the traditional air nomad arrow tattoos which symbolized his status as an airbending master. He was a calm gentleman who also had some levels of humor in him. The only people who made him to almost lose his mind were his siblings and his children. But other than that, Tenzen's whole purpose in the show was to teach Korra the ways of the air nomads. He was voiced by Jonathan Kimball Simmons, who is an actor and a voice actor, who is best known in the Spider-Man franchise playing the role of Jonah Jameson, both in animated and feature films. Tarlock was the last representative for the Northern Water Tribe on the United Republic Council. This man was ambitious and well-liked by the public. The only problem he had was his unending rivalry with Tenzen. He was the son of a former fugitive known as Yak One, and this made him hide his true identity from others. He was also a power-hungry man who would do whatever it took to acquire what he wanted, even if it meant going against the Council and the Avatar. Pabu, on the other hand, was a mischievous male ferret who was Bolan's pet and sidekick. He was more of a partner in crime than a pet to Bolan, and both of them have been in so many adventures together. Pabu was just like a cat. He was so affectionate to Bolan and his friends, and never left their side even when things were south. Naga was Korra's pet polar bear dog, whom Korra mostly used as a transportation animal. She was as loyal as a dog, and was always there when Korra was down. She was also comforting, and mostly spent the night with Korra sleeping together like siblings. Tarlock and his cute pets were voiced by the legendary D. Bradley Baker, who is an American voice actor that was married since the year 1990 and is blessed with 2 children, one of whom is also named Kora. Ikki was the second child and the youngest daughter of Tenzen. She loved fun and was very hyper and energetic. She always talked too much, which was kind of annoying, but she was the one who brought life to the show. She was fascinated by everything, and her imagination was always on high alert. And just like any other siblings, Ikki was always arguing with her little brother and her big sister due to their different personalities. This joyous girl was voiced by Darcy Rose Burns, who is an American and Irish actress, and is well recognized as Abby Newman by the people that watch The Young and the Restless. Gora was the firstborn child and the eldest daughter of Tenzen. She was the youngest known airbending master and the first of her generation. For a teenage girl, she was so reserved and intelligent, and was the calmest and the most mature of the children. She was also very inquisitive and highly driven by thirst for knowledge, and this was shown when she always spent too much time reading books and educating herself on history. And even though she was an intellectual, she was more interested in abstract and theatrical knowledge, which was about the natural detachment from the physical world and into the spiritual realm. A spiritual lady voiced by Kiernan Shipka, who is an American actress, and is best remembered for her role as Sally Draper in Mad Men. There was this radio broadcaster known as Shiro Shinobi, who always provided commentary on pro-bending matches in Republic City. And when not commentating on these matches, he was also heard announcing the election results in the city. Shiro's first job was reporting and covering crimes in the city, but when the world grew more darker, he decided to jump ship and focus on the positive side of life like pro-bending matches. He was voiced by the legendary Jeff Bennett, an American voice actor who is a true icon that also voiced iconic characters like Dexter and Johnny Bravo. Asami Sato was a businesswoman and a wealthy industrialist who was the daughter of a rich tycoon known as Hiroshi Sato. She was a non-bender, but was a karate enthusiast who could take on quite a number of men with a pair of electric gloves. She was a sweet and caring young woman who was also quite used to living a luxurious life due to her wealthy upbringing. She joined Team Avatar and was of great assistance due to her connections and wealth. Voiced by Seychelle Gabriel, an American actress who also appeared in the 2010 live-action remake of The Last Airbender playing the role of Princess Yu, the Moon Spirit. Unalaq was a waterbending master who was initially the chief of both the northern and southern water tribes. He was also once a member of the Red Lotus, and was the first and only Dark Avatar. He was the uncle of Avatar Kora, and was her spiritual teacher for a while. Desna and Eska were twins and the children of Unalaq. They were initially very loyal to their father, until they discovered who he really was and what his true intentions were. They never smiled and were never happy. I believe they were from the lineage of Mai, Azula's friend from The Last Airbender. Amon was the leader of the Equalists, whose main goal and objective was to introduce equality by ridding the world of benders. He was an agile and a stealthy fighter, and was also secretly a bloodbender too. Pema was the loving wife of Tenzen and the mother to Jinora, Ikki, Milo, and Rohan. She loved and cared for her family, and was a housewife who ensured that everything was in perfect order. She was a non-bender, and her focus was fully on the kids who always caused havoc in the house. Bumi was Aang's and Katara's firstborn child and the eldest son. He was born a non-bender, but later developed airbending skills during the harmonic convergence. He was also the overall commander of the 2nd Division of the United Forces. Tonrak was a powerful waterbending master and the chief of the Southern Water Tribe. He was the older brother of Unalaq, and the father to Kora. Kia was the second child of Aang and Katara, and was the one who inherited Katara's waterbending skills. She was so good in fighting, as we saw how well she handled Zahir when he sneaked in their home. She also inherited the healing skills that Katara had, and was always there when her brother Tenzen was in trouble. Rava was the spirit of light and peace, and also the Avatar spirit. She existed for over 10,000 years, and was the oldest spirit to ever exist. And finally Ai Wei, who was a former trusted advisor of Zhaofu's leader known as Suin Beifong. He was a seer, and this gained him much respect in the city. He was later discovered to be one of the Red Lotus agents, and this made him to escape and meet Zahir in the spirit world, but was later sentenced to spend an eternity inside the fog of lost souls.